Self-hate can be done in several ways. Some people use alcohol and drugs to punish themselves. Others eat too much. Others eat not enough. There's also a certain type of people who watch Supernatural as if it's the best show in the entire world. But I use a different kind of self-hate method. Can you beat the PlayStation 4 release build of Cyberpunk 2077? Before anyone tries to come at me in the comments, I love Cyberpunk 2077 and played it upon release. I loved it! I switched around various games during that time because it was Lockdown 2.0 Electric Boogaloo, but Cyberpunk 2077 stayed with me. I love the characters, especially Judy, Panam, Johnny and Takamura. But all of this does not change the fact that the release build on PlayStation 4 was something. Even after updates, I had game-breaking glitches in mine. For example, one where Panam wouldn't head to the train station during a certain mission, which locked me out of one of the endings. Great. So after playing 100 hours on PC, 90 hours on PlayStation 4, and 100 hours on PlayStation 5, I decided that I would revisit the release build of the game, as I owned a physical disc with the 1.0 build. To make things a little bit more enjoyable for me, I decided that I would cheese the hell out of the game, because bugs are fun and good for the soul. I am also not going to point out every bug I run into, because otherwise this video would be 3 times as long as it already is. But I am going to do a best-of collection of glitches at the end of the video, kind of like a post-credit scene, so stay tuned for that. Okay, let's do this. At first, we have to make our character, V. I made her a woman because I only play women in video games if I can. I randomized her a few times and then put most of my points into reflexes to get better perks and handguns. I'll tell you the reason later, and gave her the Street Kid backstory. The game was already buggy from the start. I skipped most of the intro because I had already played the game several times through so far, so there was nothing new for me to see here. Okay, first mission and, well, you can see how things are going on. The game crashed on me when Jackie and I left the car. Thankfully I didn't have the tutorial again, but Jesus Christ, what a start.
The next day.
Okay, it is now roughly 4 hours later. I did a lot of side questing around Watson to get my level and stats up, and to get a rough feeling of how things are going to be. From the missions that Regina, the fix in that area, gives you, 2 are so broken that I cannot finish them. And even if I non-lethally take down cyberpsychos, she still scolds me as if I had killed them, which bothers me big times. One thing I came to realize is that the biggest problems always come either while loading in or shortly after. Sometimes the loading screen just goes completely black and I cannot do anything but close and restart the game. And the biggest problems, just in general with the AI and other things around City, happen in the first few minutes of playing. Don't ask me why, but that's just what I have noticed. I've waited for the main quests until further along, so let's do them now. Long story short, my buddy Jackie and I were hired to rob from Arasaka, the biggest company in the world. We need to steal an implant called the Relic. The heist is set up by Dexter Deshawn, a fixer, which is basically a middleman. At this point we gotta do 2 missions, one to go through a brain dance, it's a recording of your vision, feelings and the surrounding done by an implant, and the second one is to get a military device from a rebel gang. First on my list was the brain dance, because in this version you cannot skip the tutorial. So I did that. I met the babe Jude and Evelyn for the first time and oh god, I love them both so much. Also, funnily enough, at first Judy didn't move her mouth at all, but Evelyn did, which looked strange. Yeah, very strange. In the Kompeki Plaza brain dance, the place we gotta rob, I had no problems because I knew where the relic is hidden, but you still gotta follow the guidelines the game gives you. Oh well. Also, when I called T-Bug to help me get through the recording, it showed that Dexter Deshawn was calling, not T. Strange. Well, we got the info where the relic is hiding, and with that the mission is done. The game also crashed right afterwards, so that's that. Next we have to get the flathead from the Maelstroms. To be fair, I hate the Maelstroms with a burning passion, and everyone I see walking around gets a package of lead right into it. I also got the shard from Meredith because she is everyone's favorite corporate bitch. At this point, my skill for pistols was so crazy, and with a legendary pistol being used, I regularly shot enemies for 1000 points of damage. And I swear, I saw a few over 3000 damage being dealt too. Okay, I fucked up a Maelstrom, got the flathead, placed my favorite corporate, and now it is time for the heist. Before we start the heist, we met up with our Netrunner friend T-Bug and Dex in the afterlife. Which is nice foreshadowing. The afterlife is a morgue turned club. And we all meet inside of a box. In a morgue. I love things like this. Or the fact that in the BD tutorial, V gets shot in the head, and Judy says that the real thing hurts more. And then calls Evelyn and V walking, talking corpses. Misty, who is Jackie's girlfriend, says to him to avoid mean reds. Meanwhile, Arasaka's collar is red, Dexter's car is red, and his sunglasses too. No matter what, they were all fucked from the start. One fucking bug I think is very funny is the fact that the phone calls and the halos are so fucked up. Either the models don't load in, they're made out of 5 polygons, or I just don't move at all. Oh here, in T-Bug's case, what the fuck is that? I also realized doing car rides in third person and here while walking after Jackie, that the shadow that is behind the object while it moves and that it stays there for a little bit. That's very off-putting and weird, but nothing to write home about, seriously. Another one that I've noticed is that the cursor moves by itself sometimes. That's so annoying when you want to see the stats on an object to compare it, like with guns, but you cannot cause it moves ever so slightly. Okay, we checked into Kompeki Plaza, and now we gotta get the flathead into the system to continue division. And that was very easy, no problem. And now it is time to collect the relic. Well, it would be too easy, so Yorinobu Arasaka decides to kill his dad to make things a little bit harder for us. Also, Takamura, my dear, lost his shirt for a moment, so that was a view and quite funny. Thanks to taking Yorinobu's gun earlier, getting through the fighting part was easy as hell, but Jackie's stuff always takes out my heart and rips it into pieces. See you in the Major League, my friend. V gets killed, and at this point we are at my favorite point. A Johnny flashback. We bomb Arasaka HQ, which is a fun activity to do for the whole family. Johnny got flatlined, and my game crashed, so I had to redo the whole part. Also, when you talk with Saburo during this part, the subtitles, which I always play with on, by the way, show that V is talking, and not Johnny. Also, speaking of Johnny, I read that Johnny was supposed to be based on David Bowie.
Meme school.
Not Rihanna Keys. Does anyone know if that's true? Okay, back to the main world. V did die, but not that hard, which is nice. The relic brought her back to life, and the loading times are still insanely long. Ugh. We were dumped into the trash, and we crawled back out, just how I crawled back to my ex many moons ago, but that's a talk for a different day. Now we get to formally meet Johnny Silverhand properly for the first time, and he is one of my favorite fictional assholes. Dex got shot by Takamura. Takamura took us to Vic, our trusty ripper dog. By the way, the scene where you get chased by assassins. I'm just going to let this play out for you, as it did for me, okay? Just enjoy.
You hear me? I need your help. Quickly, B. 加減しねえ。これ地獄に落ちろ。
Well. Okay, Johnny made his first appearance after Misty tucked V in. God, I love this scene so much. Afterwards, I tried to phone Takamura to meet with him in Tom's diner, but the phone call wouldn't load. And the game crashed again. But afterwards, the phone call worked, so there's that. I didn't record the next few hours, as I just spent it doing side quests for fixes and other stuff. You know, to fill the void between recording other challenges. And it is now roughly 3 hours of gameplay later, and I'm finally meeting my sweetheart Takamura. Gosh, I love listening to him. He has such an amazing voice. Also, between recordings, I got the damage of my pistols up to 17,000 damage. Which is insane, because the one gun you get during the Johnny flashback does roughly 1,000 damage and feels absolutely OP. So I talked with Goro, and then it was up to me duty to find out where the hell Evelyn went. Okay, she worked as a doll at a high-end etablissement. Okay, she went away without noticing anyone. Okay, so I checked out the etablissement, Clouds, and honestly, I missed Johnny's comments while I was playing the game before the heist. Seriously, I love that guy. So Evelyn got hacked from remote, and Woodman, the owner, dumped her at the river dock called Fingers. So obviously I dumped Woodman feet first into a wood chipper and checked out the river dock, who funnily enough is voiced by the same guy as Dr. Trager in Outlast. Also during this very short recording of not even 40 minutes, the game crashed 3 times. Great. Well, Judy and I talked with Fingers. I murdered him just like Woodman, and now it is off to rescue Evelyn from the scavs, which they got her. At this point, I also realized that reloading a save made my game crash, which means every time I wanted to redo a part of a mission, because, for example, something went wrong, I had to exit the game completely, reload everything, and choose the right save. Which is a bit annoying, I won't lie about that. Also, Judy glitched out once we reached the hideout and I couldn't talk with her. So once again, I had to exit the game and reboot everything. This happened several times during this game. But the glitch stayed, so I had to redo the brain dance and told Judy to drive there alone, which pissed me off a bit because I like talking to Judy. But I fixed it by going there on my own, getting into Judy's car and then wait for a bit. We cleared out the scavs, and for whatever reason I was on the holo with Claire the whole time. Don't ask me, and the game crashed. But upon reloading, everything worked out fine. I shot some heads off and rescued what was left of Evelyn. I always wished we could save her, but no matter what, Night City always wins. Our next lead was right in the Pacifica, because Evelyn was in bed with the Voodoo Boys. Off to meet one of them, I guess. Before meeting with them, I did a bit more side questing, just for a few hours, just to make me a little bit more powerful, you know. Okay, well, fuck me sideways with a chainsaw. I spent the last roughly 5 hours just doing side missions and grinding V up. Between these sessions, I got a bit bored of the game and threw in some Skyrim, and now, coming back to the game after a few days, the save files are mostly corrupted. I have no idea how or why. I tried making new saves, but the only thing that the game allows me to do is to make quick saves, and they somehow work, don't ask me how. I cannot, or better said dare not, reload any old saves. So I decided to ditch all side missions and things are not 100% related to the main story and for the possible endings including the romances. So I booked it back to Pacifica to meet Placide and to get into the van for him. Well, we all know what is going to happen next. The Voodoo Boys fucked me over. I decided to run with Netwatch with this one because fuck them all. And soon we got another flashback as Johnny. Oh, and I got this amazing glitch. Please be amazed. Also, the flashback felt different, yeah. Johnny didn't feel as OP as he did in the Arasaka bombing flashback. Alt glitched out during the sex scene, which... well... and I actually ran out of fucking bullets in the Arasaka tower. The whole scene just felt weird and the game crashed twice. Speaking of game crashes, every single one robs me of my precious nerves because I'm always afraid it could mean my game would break completely. And after that flashback, when V talks with Johnny alone, my all-female V suddenly had the male voice. Only for this tiny mini part of the game, and once the scene ended, it was back to female V.
Never even told me half that about Alt.
Really? Any examples?
I don't know. That you were a couple? That she wrote Soul Killer? That she's dead? How the hell is she supposed to help us now? As a ghost?
She's not dead. Managed to escape.
I saw the body.
This game, I swear. Well, the Voodoo Boys and especially Placide were turned into ground meat, and then I got the call from Judy. You see, I had a close friend choose a similar ending, so I'm just going to skip this part for your sake. Judy's plan was to free Clouds of their owners and take it over with the Mox, the group she was part of. A group which takes care of dolls. This is one of the few side quests I'm going to attempt in my race against my own game. On the bright side, it is finally Panam time! Too long didn't read, she got fucked over by her partner in crime, and we helped her in exchange for help with capturing Hellman, the guy who worked on the biochip but then fled Arasaka. He had tried to leave Night City in an AV, something like a small cargo plane, and we would knock it out of the sky. First, Panam stuff. We stole her car back and killed the dude who wronged her, then finished the deal. We also dropped by her old camp, as she's a nomad, but tried to find her luck in the city. They refused to help her, so it was only V and her. Afterwards, time to shoot a dude out of the sky. While doing this, her old gang, the Aldecados, got wind of it, but Panam couldn't reach them because they were trying to help the survivors. Well, since Hellman was taken in by a rival company of Arasaka, they had the heavy machinery with them, and nearly all of them got killed. But we got Hellman, and Takemura, my beloved, had an interview with him. Yeah, let's just call it an interview. And from the intel we got, the only way to get the chip out of V's head without insta-killing her is to get into Mikoshi. Mikoshi is one of the most heavily guarded data fortresses in Arasaka and holds the digitalized minds of clients from the Secure Your Soul program, which Johnny was part of, more or less voluntarily. I'm also going to do Panam side quests as they allow me to do another ending. Oh, also because of my save files being all broken, I cannot fast travel anymore. Because fast traveling is also fucked up and doesn't load properly. Okay, back to Judy Girl. V was her hired muscle for the talk with Maiko, an ex-girlfriend. She informally ran Clouds because she was a doll with brains, but oh well. She was not very impressed by Judy and V's idea and kicked them out. I also decided to finally tackle River's questline, because honestly, I think he has the least content out of all 4 romance options, but damn, I just love him very much. So to do that, I had to start a questline with the Polaris couple. You know, the one guy who runs for mayor. They want the death of Lucius Rhine, the ex-mayor, investigated, cause the police doesn't see anything wrong with it. I did the brain dance, and then went on to call River. Well, the call glitched out. River is now permanently on my screen, judging the people around me. Oh well, guess that means that questline is glitched out, right? I tried everything to reset River's call. I got into cutscenes, I let time pass, I even made V go to bed. Nothing. He stayed on screen. And I cannot load back to a previous save file because all the other save files are broken. Well, then I should continue with the main mission, right? It is the one with Takemura and Odo, and then going to find out about the parade in Japantown. All nice and good. We got the deeds from Makako, and Takemura told me he would come and call me once he had an idea, which would be in roughly 1 game day. But he never called. Nobody ever called. River glitched out my phone and the call so badly, I couldn't get a call in and couldn't call anyone. I tried to save the game by forcing another call in to get River out, but this glitched the game out even more. So padre! Another fixer is in the call too, and I cannot do anything. Not interact with objects, not fast travel, not even double jump because of this glitch. Which meant, since I also cannot load back to a previous save file, means that the game is fucking busted. And that means no, you cannot beat the PlayStation 4 release build of Cyberpunk 2077. If you excuse me, I am now going to smash my head against the wall until I don't feel the pain of this challenge anymore. Well, I might have a major concussion now, but the new plan is this. I'm going to update the game now to the latest PlayStation 4 version, which is 1.61, as I didn't get any updates after Phantom Liberty, and you also cannot play Phantom Liberty on PlayStation 4. I at least want to finish the game for you, guys and girls, so see you in a hot second, let's see if this works out. Okay, weirdly enough, the save files are alright on the PlayStation 5 version. That's super strange, like really super strange. And the save files work in the updated version of PlayStation 4 too. And I had one right before I started River's mission after leaving Cloud, so that's where I went. And since the save files now work again, I can do side missions, so that's what I did for the next few hours to get into the different flow from 1.0 to 1.61. Also, it seems like they nerfed the perks for the pistol at some point in the different updates. So no 17,000 damage headshots anymore, which sucked ass, but the pistol still took down enemies in roughly 3 to 4 hits. So that was fine by me too. But truth to be told, I started relying on quick hacks more and more. The first hours after this chaos, I helped Panem rescue Saul, the leader of the Aldecados, because he got kidnapped by a rival gang and because I needed all of these missions for the Nomad ending. Judy also called me and we got the deeds on how she wanted to take over Clouds. A bit later, where I had just been playing off recording, Adam wanted V's help in stealing something. And you know what? The same game-breaking bug I had in 2020 is still here. Basically, Panem and the gang should drive to a meetup spot, but they get stuck in the terrain? I have no idea, but I had it in 2020 before, and I still have it on the new save file. In the 1.61 update, and if you excuse me... Oh, fuck this game! Okay, I tried again a day later, and by waiting for what felt like half an hour, the nomads got unstuck, and I could finally continue with the mission, finishing Panem's questline by stealing a basilisk from Militech for the first time on PlayStation 4, which is a bit depressing, but oh well. I also took over Cloud with Judy and killed Maiko because she was a backstabbing bitch. And I finally started River's questline again. This time the call and all went well. Then I tried to skip the drive to the hotel and the game crashed. Oh god. Okay, back to the start, all again. This time I didn't skip the ride. You see, I love River's questline because it has one of the most disturbing missions in the whole game in it. And I still feel the shock in my bones when I played it for the first time. But we are not at that mission yet. I will just let you know that we found out that the mayor was murdered and River continued his search within the NCPD. I could finally continue with the main story. There wasn't much left, to be honest. Goro Takamura's missions were the last in the menu, and for them, I needed to break into an Arasaka plan to hack into the parade thingies to make sure Goro could jump onto them without dying instantly. I did the whole quest without being spotted once. I think I'm really turning into the Queen of Night City. Okay, finally the disturbing quest with River finally triggered. The Hunt. Funnily enough, one of my favorite songs by my favorite singer, Barry Ryan, is also called The Hunt, and many missions in this game are named after old songs. So it is my personal headcanon that this mission was named after my buddy's song. I miss him. Okay, back to the disturbing quest. Too long didn't read. River's nephew was kidnapped by a crazy guy. And I think playing out a few parts of this mission will tell you everything you need to know about it.
Martinez, age 17. His parents reported his disappearance over a month ago. Unfortunately, LeVar's life could not be saved. His body could not withstand the severe septic shock he suffered. Autopsy reports revealed the teenager was given dangerously high levels of hormones, anabolic steroids, and stimulants. The possessions and genetic material of 7 other missing teens were also found in the car, belonging to one Anthony Harris.
This guy baited Randy like a pro.
River, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
No. There's no way. Why would he do that?
Not only did they agree to meet, but it looks like Randy was as excited as any kid on his way to a theme park.
Fuck. This creep definitely scrambled Randy's head. Something deeply fucked about that cartoon. My skin's crawling.
That's right, you little shit. I know it all. Farm failed. Dad put a bullet in his head.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! You can't talk about my dad, you prick! You can't! You can't! He was sick, weak. I just wanted to help him.
You were supposed to check before school. What do you gotta say for yourself? Cow's gonna die because of you. Gonna kill it like you killed your mama.
And where are you up to, Mike? Come here, you rascal. You'll hurt yourself. Tony'll take good care of you. Easy now.
Be alive.
Right. Been dead a few days already. It's okay. Don't be scared. We're here to help. A bit dehydrated, but you are gonna be fine.
Hey, help me with Randy.
Alive. Whoa, easy there. You're all right now.
Hey, help me with Randy.
To be told, this mission, and especially the cartoon, left me with a sense of unease that I haven't felt very often before. Every time I play this mission, I need to step back from the PlayStation for a bit afterwards, because it just makes me feel so weird. I cannot put it into other words.
A few moments later.
Okay, I have made literally no progress towards the main story. I just did some side questing and realized that more than enough side quests are busted. But I at least got the trophies for clearing out Pacifica and Santo Domingo, so I'm counting that as a win. But now it is finally time to get to Hanako and her fleet, because even after this mission, we still have another side quest line to do to open up another ending. The infiltration mission is honestly one of my favorite ones to do. Makes me feel like James Bond going around, knocking people out cold and just being a badass in general. Not much is to be said about this, apart from the fact that Hanako was not amused about the whole thing, and I actually kept Oda and Takamura alive. You know, it is easy to hate a corporal, but once you get to know them, it makes it a little bit harder. Okay, everything had gone to shit, and now Hanako wants to meet V to discuss the end. We had just entered Act 3. We did do Rogues and carry side quests to unlock Rogue's ending, and so I don't think there's much else to do than the endings. And I'm going to be honest with you, dear viewer. I only did the Nomad ending for the sole reason that is, I want this challenge run to be over and done with, so I could start some newer, crazier challenge run. So yeah, I had a chat with Hanako. She wanted me to confront her baby brother. Johnny threw a tantrum in the back. Now we know where Mikoshi is and that it has an access point under Arasaka HQ. On the way out, V had a seizure, you know, the usual stuff. Johnny took control for a bit and hauled V's body into Victor's clinics, where we got the news that the clock is 2 before midnight. Misty took us up to her favorite spot on top of the building, and there V had to make a decision. Side with Arasaka, try to get into the tower with Rogue, try to get into the tower with the nomads, try it alone, or end it right there. I went with Panem. She came to pick V up from Misty's shop, and on the way to the nomad camp, V had another blackout. The night before the big burst, V was officially taken into the nomads family. But the big burst? Long story short, there's a tunnel being dug under the city. With the help of the machinery and a sprinkle of war crimes, the group would tunnel right under Arasaka HQ, then get V to the access point. Well, the entrance to the tunnel was guarded by Militech, so they had to be wiped out. I once again did this with just a pistol, the basilisk we stole off of Militech, and some quick hacks which made the Militech bros puke their guts out. Awesome. We dug under Arasaka HQ, all literally fried every person's brain in the HQ. Saul got his brain smashed by Adam Smasher. Panem and I smashed him in a not so good way instead, and finally reached Mikoshi. Instead of the data fortress, Alt gave Johnny and V the news that V is dying no matter what, and could now choose to remain in the cyberspace and give her body to Johnny, or stay in her body with roughly 6 more months to live. I choose to stay in the body, and Johnny followed Alt into the cyberspace, which was really sad, cause no matter what, Johnny had grown on me in more ways than just a brain cancer. In the end, V left Night City with the nomads towards Southern California. They would call in some contacts from then and there, and V is also joined by Judy, who had wanted to leave Night City since like forever. What a very poetic open ending to a beautiful story, but sadly I have to repeat, no, you cannot beat the release build of Cyberpunk 2077 on PlayStation 4. If I were to talk about my feelings and thoughts of this game, this video would be 3 times longer than it already is. Even while talking about the story in this video, I barely even scratched the surface. The world building is beautiful, the characters and their stories are beautiful. The game did not deserve the hate it got from the start. Especially when you think of the fact that the game developers got death threats from gamers for delaying the game over and over again. If Cyberpunk 2077 had been released in the state of 2.0, it would have been praised to heaven, probably named the game of the decade, if not the century. In Night City, every corner of the street tells a new story. Every face has a story behind it. This game is a great example of games being its own form of art. How they manage to tell stories so differently than a book or a song. Mix the feelings all together, and before you know it, you cry over Johnny having to leave V's body, or V giving Johnny a second chance at life. And with all this, we're closing the chapter on our 1.0 V. But who knows? Maybe I'll come up with an even stupider challenge. We'll see. All in all, this challenge took me roughly 44 hours to beat over the course of 1.5 months. If I had done the other 2 endings, it would have probably been 50 hours plus. And if so many side quests hadn't glitched out, it would have been 55 or even 60 hours. And if I had recorded all my rage quits, we would have been up a few more hours too. And I did a rough count of all the crashes during the 1.0 part of the game. And in roughly 20 hours of gameplay, I had over 50 crashes. I'm so glad we're done with this. Anyway, this was my video on beating the release build of Cyberpunk 2077 on PlayStation 4. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.